when I can't. Ravi sir, is it live?
Yes, ma'am, it's live. We can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fun session by DIY session by STEM and Space. And you all know that in DIY sessions, what we do is we make some activity and we will learn the science behind it. And today, my name is just a minute. Okay, yeah. So today what we are going to do is we are going to make a very interesting activity and we will be learning how airplanes fly. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. My name is Suparna and without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, let me just share my screen. And is it visible? Is it visible, Garvit sir?
Yes, it's visible. I mean, on Zoom.
Yes. Yes. So we are conducting this live session because we are here to celebrate National Paper Plane Day, which is on May 26th. Okay. So this is a simple aeronautical toy. We all must have made it at some point of time. It is just to honor this small aeronautical toy which is there for thousands of years. We are conducting this DIY. So what happens is these huge aeroplanes which we have, which has this all these very complicated science, and the paper planes, simple paper planes, these both are flight adventure. And what we are going to do is we are going to learn the science of flight with just a small sheet of paper. Okay, so we all know that humans have always wanted to fly, because if you look at our ancestors also, they were all very curious about flying, and that is what led to the invention of so many instruments like airplane, and we have parachutes, and we do for adventure, we do skydiving also. So all these are because of our curiosity, and all flying follows the same route, even the small paper planes we make. Okay, so let's understand how what keeps things in the air, and that is the main reason why the flight is happening. So that's what we are first looking into before making these different types of airplanes. Okay, so there are basically four forces which affects anything which is flying. Okay, there is weight, lift, thrust, and drag. So these are the four forces. So let's look at these forces very quickly and understand what it is. Okay, so when something is flying, like our airplane, it actually gets affected by the gravity of our Earth. So we all know Earth is pulling everything to its surface, and that's what creating a weight that will have an effect on our airplane, and that is this, the weight will pull the airplane down. Okay, so this is affecting our airplane all the time. So in this case, if the gravity is more, we won't be able to fly. So there is another force which is called a lift. Okay, this is the force which keeps the plane in the air. Okay, so this force, or this force, is opposite to our weight, and this is achieved by the reason, this is achieved by the shape of the wings. Okay, so airplanes, if you look at the shape of the wings, you can see it looks like a bird, right? And birds are the only creatures which naturally fly in our nature. So we created our airplane also in the same shape as the birds. So the wings are in a particular shape. So these wings are created in a special shape called airfoil shape. Okay, so what happens, what it does is it actually creating two different pressure regions. At the bottom of the plane, it's creating a high pressure region, and on the top of the plane, it's creating a low pressure region. So the what it air is doing is air is pushing the airplane up. Okay, so that is what giving our airplane this particular force called lift. Okay, now we have like this, when this weight and lift is equal and it's balanced, anything can float in the air. But that's not only what airplane is doing. It's not just floating in the sky, it moves also. So for moving, it has another force called thrust. Okay, so thrust is what making the airplane move forward. Okay, and this is mainly achieved by the shape of airplane. If you look at the shape front side of the airplane, you can see that it has a shape of a cone. Okay, it's not a proper like a very sharp cone, but it is having a face like a bird. Like if you look at this picture, you will also feel like this is like a bird's face, right? So this particular shape is for, for piercing through the air and going. So we all know that air is actually a fluid, and when you have to go through it, you have to actually pierce through it. Okay, because the air will push you back. So it's just simple Newton's third law of, third law, which says every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When you want to go through the air, it will push you back. And that force is what we called as the drag. So to reduce the drag and to move forward, that forward force is what we call as thrust. It has two things. One is the shape of the entire airplane is designed in a way that it reduces the drag, it reduces the air resistance, and also we have these jet engines which actually pushes the air back so that we can move forward. Okay, so this is, I'll give you a simple example of this. So if you ever went for swimming, you must have noticed that when you swim, you actually push the water back. Okay, to go forward. So with your hands, when you push the water back, you move forward. This is the same thing as Newton's third law. And our jet engines are also doing the same thing. What it is doing is, where the air from the front of the airplane, what it this jet engines are doing is it will take this air and it will push it back. And because of that push, the airplane will move forward. So because of these two reasons, we can say that the drag is getting reduced and the thrust is happening. Thrust is more. Okay, so because this all these forces are balanced, and some like way the lift and thrust is more, the airplane is going up, it's floating in the air, and also it's moving forward. Okay, so this is the science of flight. Now what we are going to do is we are going to build some airplanes, and we are going to understand what small changes in these airplanes can make a whole huge difference. Okay, so we will be making three airplanes. One is called a glide, another one is called a dart, and a striker. Okay, so we will be like making three. Each one is a little bit more upgraded version than the other, and it is for different purposes also. Okay, so I hope you all are ready. And so if you this for this activity, we just need three sheets of paper and one scissor, nothing else. So even if you don't have the material, just you can go and get it now. It's nothing, it's just simple foldings, and this is a simple origami structure. So I want you all to participate and test it out. Okay, so let's get started. But before that, let's understand a little bit about the first type of the plane which we are creating, which is called as a glider. Okay, so the glider is designed, its design is very different from the normal airplanes we see. It has a huge wing. Okay, it will have a huge wings, and also the nose, the front side of these gliders will be a blunt means it's not a pointy one, it is little rounded face. Okay, and it is actually created for a smooth and steady flight. Okay, so gliding is actually a process where you don't have to use your engine to move forward. You can without the engine also, if it's going slowly or if it's floating, if it's moving from one place to another, that's what we call as a gliding. Okay, so this wide wings and this blunt nose is what giving it the power of gliding, and it gives it stability also. Okay, so because of these two reasons, we call it glider, and I'll show you what how a real glider also looks like. But let's first make a small glider with using just a piece of paper. Okay, so I want everybody to take a small piece of A4 size paper or any paper. Okay, so I hope you all are ready. Yeah, so take the paper, and first thing you have to do is keep it vertical. Keep it vertical on the table and just fold it into half. Okay, as you can see in the video, just fold it properly into half, and with your finger, just make a proper crease. Okay. Yes. So this is the first step. You have to fold it half and then make these creases proper. First, you have to keep it vertical and then make the fold and make the creases proper. And then what you have to do is take these corners of the paper and then fold it towards the center crease so that you can make a proper triangle on top. It's just a very basic plane. The foldings are also very, very easy. It's not very complicated one. Just if you have made a paper plane before, you must have done the same thing. It's just you have to create a triangle on top, then fold it towards the other side. Okay, fold it towards the opposite side. And like how you do for airplanes, we are going to make the flaps. And for making the flaps, what you have to do is keep it to the other side and then just fold the flap, take these corners and keep it folded towards the down so that your center, your flap, the edge of the flap is coinciding with the center crease. Okay, this is very simple. I hope you all have tried this paper plane before. This is the simplest version you can ever make. But the thing about this airplane is it is actually a little long. And if you look at the wing, it is a little bit more bigger than the normal airplanes which we make. Okay. And this is our glider is ready. Okay. So this is how a glider looks like. Okay. So I hope you all made the glider. It's a very simple design. Now what you can do is you can fly it. Okay. Just fly it and see how it is working. Okay. So let me see if you how the flying is going in the chat. You all can chat and let me know how this flying is happening. Okay. So let me see if there is anybody who tried this. Yes, if there are like, you used to make it before. Okay, I can see. We make the wings longer? Yes, you can make the wings longer. But for now, you all can try this glider and see how it is flying. Okay. If the wings are, the wings are already big, and then you can try this and you can see the difference. The airplane which you already make, it is a little bit more different than that one. It actually glides. Okay. It actually glides. There is two more things when you are flying something. You have to hold it at the front. If you're holding it in between these two small flaps, it will not fly properly. Okay, so hold it in the front and then throw it. And when you're throwing, there are 2-3 things. Of course, it's not a real plane, it's a paper plane. So there are certain things which affects the flight. First thing is you should not put the fan on in the room. That is one thing. And you have to, just fly it properly. Okay, so that is the one glider. And it's okay. If it's not working also, we will be making a lot of other types of planes. And let's see what is actually another type of plane. But there is actually a science behind it. Even the real gliders are also using the same science. It has this huge wings, which increases the surface area. It can be horizontal or it can be vertical also. It's fine. Both these gliders have using this same science. It has this huge surface area, allowing the air to push it up, and it can glide. It can stay in the what do you say, in this air properly. Okay, it will have a low speed. It will not have a very good speed, but it will have a proper glide time. Okay, it will have a high glide time. Now let's see. So I hope you all tried the first one. I can see for some it's not working. It's okay. If it's not working, maybe you have to properly throw it. It will work. It will work. Now, let's try another one. So this is the very simplest, airplane model, but let's make it a little bit more advanced. Okay, so now what we are going to make is a plane called dart. Okay, so the dart we always all play, right? When you have a target and you have a dart and then you throw it with a very high speed, it will go and it will strike on the target. So that's the same principle behind our dart also. It's also made with a very simple force, but it has something different than our glider. It has a pointy nose. Okay, it has a very pointy nose, which is making it fast, and also it will travel more distance also. Okay, so because it has this pointy nose, it can pierce through the air. which will create less drag and high thrust. Okay, so let's try the dart next. So for this also, take another piece of paper, take another piece of paper, and exactly like how you did for the dart, just keep it vertical and fold it to a half. Make it half and open. Okay. And how you same thing which you did for the glider, take the two corners, top corners, make it into a triangle. Okay, then you will get a proper triangle. And once you have this triangle, I'm just going a little slow so that you can understand it properly. Once after making the triangle, what you have to do, we are going to make it more pointy, and also we are going to increase a little bit more weight on the front. Okay, these are the two things we are going to do. So for this, now all of you got a triangle and a small rectangle at the bottom. Now what we are going to do is, again, you can see there are um, two edges, right? So what we are going to do is just fold those two edges again towards the center crease and make it into a even pointy or even a pointier triangle. Okay, this is what you have to do next. Okay, so as you can see from the glider, there is a difference here. It has a pointy nose. Now fold it towards the back side, properly fold it towards the back side and close these flaps. And when you're making flaps, you have to make sure that you are not folding it all the way from the tip. You have to just take it from the center of, I'll show you this once again. So when you're folding, you have to make sure that you are not folding the flaps all the way from the tip, just maybe from the middle of your point, from the tip. Okay, so that's how you have to fold it, and you will get your dart. So this is how your dart is going to look like when you open the flaps. Yes. So there is actually a difference from, there's actually a very huge difference from the glider. You can see it has a pointy nose and the wings are also not that big. Okay, now you all can try and let me know in the comments it's working or not. And or you have to understand that throwing is also effects. Okay, it's not the real plane. We are not putting any jets or anything. The throwing is what matters. So you have to hold it at the front and throw it. And you can see there is a clear difference between the glider and this dart. It goes more faster and it, goes more distance also. Okay, so that is about the dart. And you can see this is actually a real picture of dart. If the shape reduces the drag, that means the pointy nose is what it's doing is it's actually piercing through the air and it's going fast. Okay, and of course, because less drag means more thrust when you're throwing. That's what I'm saying again and again. The throwing matters because the throwing is what it giving it thrust. Okay, so if you throw it more fast, it will go more fast, and you have to try. And please don't put the fan in your room, because otherwise it will not work. Okay, so this I can see a lot of people are saying, ma'am, it's very fast, it's like a bullet. Yes, the dart is like a bullet only. Okay, now you can see that dart is much better than glider. It's not much better, it's actually a little different. The reason or the why we use dart is for a different purpose, mainly for jets, which you have to, which we, when you have to move faster through the air, that's where we use this dart. Okay, so there are, like, with a different purpose, we make the changes in the airplane. Okay, now we changed two parameters. One, we added big huge wings, and then we created a pointy nose. So these two worked in different ways. Now in dart, you saw it's going fast, but it's not gliding, in the air. It's not staying in the air for some time. It's just going and falling down, right? But the glider, when you throw it, it's actually, it keep being on this air for some time, and then it's going down. So what we can do is, let's combine these two, parameters, these two features, and combine it and make another one, which is a little bit more advanced one. Okay, so the third level is what we called as a striker, which is the combination of a glider and a dart. Okay, so what we are going to do is, We are taking the good side of the glider and we are taking the good part of the dart and combining it. And let's see if it's work or not. Okay. So for this, everybody take another sheet of paper. So this is a little complicated than the other two. Let's try this. So keep it vertical, and like you did for the past two models, just fold it into half properly. Then from the corners, fold it towards the center, make it into a triangle. Okay, so till this part everybody do, because after this there is a small change from the other two. So first you all make this triangle on top, and then what you have to do is, it's still simple, but it's a little different than glider and dart. That's it. Okay, so now what you have to do is this: take the tip of this triangle and fold it towards the center. Okay, that means take this tip and then fold it down. That's what we are going to do. Just take the tip of the triangle and fold it down and make the creases proper. So when you're making an airplane, you have to make sure that the creases are proper. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay, so with your finger, you can make the creases proper. And then you can see one side there is a triangle and the other side there is a rectangle. Okay, so there is nothing but just a rectangle. So now what you have to do is turn towards that side where you don't have the triangle. Okay, so turn your entire paper plane to the other side, and then there we are going to take the tips and we are going to fold it towards the center crease. Okay, I hope you all understood what we did. First, make the triangle, top triangle, then fold it into the center. I'll just play one more time so that you all can, try this properly. First, fold it into half. Then from the top corners, fold it towards the center so that you will get a proper triangle on top. And then fold that triangle down. That's what you have to do. Fold that triangle down so that you will get a small rectangle. Okay. And once you get the rectangle, turn it towards the other side. You should not use the side where you have the triangle. To turn it towards the other side and fold the corners again and make another triangle. Okay. That's what you all have to do. Once you made the triangle, you have to do the same thing. Fold it at the center, like how you do for normal airplanes, and then close the flaps. So in Striker, when you close the flap, you already have a small portion, like you can see a small fold here. So you can just fold the flaps along that fold, and then you will get your Striker. Okay, now try this one. I try this Striker and let me know in the comments, is it working better or is it worse than glider and dart? Let me see. Okay, so just try this. It's a little complicated design, but it works. Okay, it has both the good features of our glider and we have the good features of dart, because that means it has a pointy nose and also it has the huge wings. Okay, so we combine both and we are seeing like if it's working or not. Let me see, is it working? Did the Striker work better, or it's which one is better? Which one do you think it's working better? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so first try it and let me know. Okay, so while you guys are making and trying it out, yes, can we use the origami square sheet to make? So you can't make it with a square, because as you saw, we are folding the top triangle down and then we are making the Striker. We want the front to be a little heavy. Okay, that's what giving it more, in much more stability in space. So I mean in sky. So you have to use a Air Force size paper. So yes, which one worked better? It's a glider, dart, or the Striker? Yes, so I can see so many of you are saying The striker is the best. Some of you see there are like different purpose for these different planes. It's not like one is better, one is not better. But yeah, in paper planes, yes, of course, one is better than the other. But in real life, we use striker when you can see in the picture also. This is the yeah, real picture of a striker, and you can see the pointy nose, and you can see this huge wings. Okay, so you can fly farther than a glider, and you can stay up longer than a dart. Okay, so when you are doing in military, when you're making these kind of airplanes, of course we have to look the science, and for different purpose we have to make it according to that. But for fun paper planes, of course some people will like dart because it's going fast, and yeah, so that's fine. But all these three things have their own purpose, and it yeah looks also, it's personal. Some like striker and some like dart, but all these three works. Now let's do something. Let's add another part to this paper plane. What we are going to do is we are going to add some flaps. Okay, so that's let's see when you add some flaps. So this is, now you saw three parameters, how when you change the wings and the face, how the flight is changing. Now we are going to add an additional parameter, which is the flap. Okay, so let's see when you add the flaps, how is it going to change. Okay, so for this I want everybody to take a scissor, and as you can see, we have all these three paper planes are ready. Now what you have to do is take the scissor, and at the end, these flaps, backside of your airplane, you are going to make a small cut, not too big. It's just 1 centimeter, small, very small cut at the center of one flap, and also on the edge of the flap. Okay. So, and you have to do it for both the flap. One at the center of the flap and one on the edge of the flap. Okay. And once you do it, you can see there are like some flaps like this. What you have to do is take one flap, fold it up, fold it all the way up, and keep it 90-degree. And then the other one, you have to fold it downwards. Okay. So once you fold all the flaps up and down, you can actually see from back, it will look like this. Okay, I'll just, yes, yeah, this is how it looks like. I'll just show you all what we did here. Once again, we just cut a small piece, we used a scissor, and we cut a small length from these two flaps. So what we did is we took the first flap, we cut a small 1 centimeter, and we cut it on the crease also, and this did the same on the other flap. Okay, and one piece of that flap, we put it up 90-degree. We folded that, these two at the center, these two, we folded it upwards, and this edges we folded it downwards, so that you will get a proper flap at the back. Okay, and then I just made it for one, but you can make it for all of your planes, and see, adding flaps, is it going to make some changes. Okay, so which I will prefer you all make it in the dart, because it's going too fast, and it works, you can see the clear difference in dart better than all the other planes. Okay, so what the same thing we did for all the planes, and see, is there any changes. Okay, so let me know in the comments, adding flaps, did it make any changes? Okay, yeah, so what, it's just nothing, it's just take the back side of your plane. So you can see these wings, right? On the wings, we are just making cuts. So at the center of one wing, we made one cut, and at the crease also, the center, this crease. Okay, and then we folded it one up, flap up and one flap down. Okay, and just we did for all of this. That's it. So you can see in the video also, we are doing it for all the planes. And let me know in the comments, is it making any changes, or is it the same? Yes. So yes. So for some You should not cut it all the way up, just maybe 1 centimeter, cut, not more than that. Okay, it is actually, if you make it on dart, you can actually see some changes. So I will show you what it does generally in airplanes. Okay, so in paper planes, what it actually does is it slows down. Okay, it slows down the plane. It creates the extra drag on the plane, and that is actually making the plane slow down. Okay, so if you are making it in dart, you can clearly see the difference. Dart was going so fast, and when you added the flaps, it's actually making it slow. Okay, and you can see it is improving the stability. So when you are, when you first throw the dart, it was going fast and it was falling, but when you put the flaps, it is actually staying on the air for some time, and then it's going. So it is creating more stability. When you add flaps, it creates more stability. It increases the lift, like I already told you. It increases the lift because it stays on the air for some time. These flaps are giving that uh, you know increased lift for your design. And also because this are happening, or because the air is moving differently over the wings, and real airplanes are actually using this flaps. So if you have a look at the wings of the airplane, it has these flaps which opens and closes. Okay, so in real life, even your paper plane, it was slowing your paper plane down, but in real life, these flaps are very important, because in real airplanes, if these flaps are not there, you won't be able to control your plane. Okay, so actually giving a little drag, you can properly steer and slow your airplane down. So this is very important. So I just added a extra point, but if you don't want to make the flap, it's fine. It's just to know that adding different parameters will change your flight. Okay, so happy flying, everyone. I hope you all learned something new today. You all now you know the science behind the airplane, so you can make variations in your design, and you can send it to us. Also, we will be sharing our email ID in the chat box, where you can send your pictures, and if you can create much better airplanes than this dart and striker, please do send those design to us, so that we also can see what are the different things. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. We will see you in another fun DIY session. Till then, bye.